Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, whenever you are watching this. It is Tuesday morning, which means we are in week 7, but we are like deep into week 7. We only have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday left of this week. So I'm going to actually start making some sourdough discard crackers for my family and myself. And I thought I would pop in and kind of update you on how week 7 so far has been going and what we can look forward to coming up. I have you like propped up on a bunch of canisters, which is why the weird angle here, but just too lazy to go back upstairs for like the 15th time and grab the tripod. So let's make crackers and catch up. I've been trying to bring my sourdough back to life. So I want to use up a lot of the discard here. And I think crackers are one of our favorite ways to do that. So I want to try a new recipe and do cheese crackers. So let's see how this turns out. For the sourdough crackers, I will leave the recipe that I am following-ish down below. And I say ish because I'm going to use her basic recipe, and then I'm going to add to it the cheese. So we're going to use a cup of sourdough discard. I think I'm going to try to make 2 bunches. Let's just see how much I have to use up. I give it a good stir. It's really sticky. So week 7, my 75 soft weeks start on a Friday. And we've gone over this if you've been following along, why we start on a Friday and how that's been kind of both good and bad. But Friday, by the time we got to Friday, mentally we were just kind of feeling it. There's been some stuff behind the scenes that has been happening, and it was kind of just more high stress. Every time we think we're coming up for air, there's been like something else that's come our way. And quite honestly, I'd love to be like, I think it'll slow down, or but I'm sure y'all can feel it too. And it just feels like maybe it's not going to. And maybe we better kind of buckle up, because maybe it'll get a little bit tougher before it gets better. But in all of this, I've been trying to keep my faith at front and center of my mind and be like, but I know that my God will carry me through this too. And however that looks, it may not look like the world thinks it needs to look, but to just be clinging and leaning in tighter, and just really leaning into Christ and my faith, and drawing closer in that way, which was kind of one of the things that I wanted to do in this challenge as well. I wanted to get back to being in the word a little bit more. And it's just right. It never turns out the way you think it's gonna turn out, but that's kind of life for you, right? So things got a little stressful. They felt really stressful over the weekend, and we really took the weekend and wanted to just be a little slower and just be with family. And so just with our little family, we just wanted to kind of hunker down and try to breathe for a little bit. And so that's what we kind of did over the weekend. I let myself have some recovery days, and then I just really like leaned into family too, into my little family, and doing things that we tried to take a little bit of a mental break. I'm just cutting up the butter here because it'll mix better if it was softened, but I just took it straight out of the fridge and we're gonna put it in the recipe. So I didn't get carried away with my eating, which I was really glad with, because like I said, we were taking recovery days and just kind of moving into intuitive eating. Did read some nonfiction, so that got done. I will show you in a second when I'm done stirring here what books I got. I ended up going to the library and picking out some books, some nonfiction books, to see if that would help spark my interest. I am noticing in reading the nonfiction books that the last couple of books, I've just kind of been, I haven't really been marinating on the information. I'm just kind of reading it for the sake of reading it. And that's okay. It's building a habit still, but it's not ideal. I would really like to be gleaning more of the information from it, or just I wanted to, in my picking a nonfiction books for the challenge, I wanted to kind of be expanding what I read. But I read a lot. Well, I don't know if it's a lot. I guess in comparison, it all depends on what you're comparing to, right? So for people who don't read at all, I guess it could seem like I read a lot. For people who read much quicker and a lot more than me, and it may not feel like that much. But I tend to read fiction and lighthearted books when I need a mental break. I'll show you what it's looking like. There is some big chunks of butter in there though. So just to kind of soften that up, I'm gonna use my hands. But I like to read nonfiction books, and so I have been reading plenty of those. But I mean, let's start again. I have been reading fiction books, just kind of a lighter hearted. I know that the ending is going to end a little bit more joyously. I liken the books that I read to Hallmark movies in a book, because I keep glancing over because kiddos are awake and we are doing morning things. But so I am reading, but I wanted in this challenge to be reading nonfiction books as well. And so part of this challenge was to read nonfiction. So that did get done, but like I said, I'll show you in a moment what books I've been thumbing through. I haven't been really sticking to one. I've just been picking up, going through a couple of nonfiction books and making sure that I'm reading from them. The other thing I think that I wanted to catch you up on the weekend, but that's it, I think, for the catch up of the weekend. That's kind of what we did. We homed in. I did get my stuff done, but I just didn't pick up the camera because I was trying to be really present with the family, and we really needed that. We needed that mental togetherness. Let me know if you know what I'm trying to say, but I'm kind of failing miserably at. We needed to just be quiet and be with each other, and kind of, the world is not going to slow down. The stressors are not going to slow down. So I was kind of looking around, and I think just feeling out what could we do to help us maybe in this time feel like maybe we couldn't just take off and go on vacation again. That would be lovely, right? But we couldn't do that. We couldn't really ignore everything. Like, my husband has to get up and go back to work as the week goes on, and dishes needed to be done. And I could have stopped the 75 soft, but it really, wasn't necessary. I took the recovery days that I needed, and I drank water. I read, like I said, the books. I was in my Bible. I was getting in some good time with the Lord. So we did what we can, and I think that was part of, also, I've said it before, part of what I was hoping that this challenge would do, to build habits, and it was supposed to be more of a mental thing. I will say that I am seeing the habits, and I am seeing kind of the growth and learning that, like this weekend, we needed to take a slower time, and how could I do that without completely stopping or shutting down? And so we did our best, and now here we are on Tuesday, and we are doing another what feels good in the moment, and that for me would be to bake some crackers for my family using sourdough discard, and just getting on with the day. For the challenge, all I've had today is my 24 ounces of water that I have in the morning when I wake up. I'm working on coffee, and I haven't had any breakfast, like any food yet. So I do have collagen in my coffee that I put in there. So there's that in there. But this dough came along really nicely. So I think the recipe, if you do sourdough, this is an easy kind of thing to do. I'm going to do one batch of cheese, and I kind of wanted to do one batch a little spicier. I have to see if we have any like jalapenos maybe, or green chilies. I don't know if I have any. Rinse my hands, and then roll this dough out. I almost forgot to add the cheese. So here's just some shredded raw cheese we have. I'm gonna sprinkle it over and then run the roller over it one more time just to get the cheese to stick. But you wanna, we've made these before, but I can't remember if the recipe that I used today is the recipe that I used before. I don't know. I wait, most of the time I try to wait to print out recipes to see if they're gonna be good. So I try to make it first, and then if it works out well, go ahead and print it out and then add it to the cookbook, the recipe book. But I don't know if I didn't do it this time or if I didn't and I just didn't put it away and so it's floating around somewhere else, but who knows. I love this raw cheese because it melts so nicely, but that also, if it's warm in your home, you have to be careful because it'll start to get soft right away too. So let's put this down, press it in. I have plenty of starters still to do more crackers. I was gonna cut them out in some like little fun, I have like a small heart shaped cookie cutter. I did order the little goldfish cookie cutter, so they do like little goldfish crackers, but that won't arrive until, we don't have it yet, so still working its way to me. But I just told my oldest son who came down to see what I was doing that I was going to cut them, but then I changed my mind. So what I'm going to do instead is just take the pizza cutter, I think. Actually, I think I'm gonna let my youngest do this part. Okay, here's the first batch done. We had, when we were pulling them out, yeah, getting them on the cooling rack was a little tougher. But these are, I ended up keeping them in for I think like 30 minutes and you can still see they're kind of soft. Now my boys try them. So they do definitely have a sourdough taste to it. I like it. The second batch I used a 1/4 cup of rye flour. So that may turn out different. This one, the flour that I used was flour that I grounded from red hard wheat berries. We're testing out different flours. Anyways, that's not what the blog is about, but I thought I'd just tell you. Vlog. That's not what the video is about. Anyways, in the second batch, I also added more salt to it. But how do you guys like this one?
Not bad. I like it.
It's delicious. I think they'll eat them. Okay, I thought I would share, like I said, I'm still finishing my coffee. It's a little after 9, I think. It's 9:30. The kids are snacking on the crackers, so I don't think those will last very long, but that's okay. That's what we made them for, to eat, right? So, should have probably tried to do something with it. I did end up getting dressed. I was gonna stay in just like my, really I wore them to bed clothes, t-shirt and shorts, but I thought I would get dressed to see if that helped me keep moving for the day. Yesterday I did a core workout. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I did a core workout and I feel in it today. So I'm not sure what we'll do workout wise today, but I can always change again if we need to. I thought I would show you the nonfiction books though that I got from the library in case you don't watch that video or that video comes out after this or what have you. So the first one on the stack here is The Secret History of Home Economics, How Trailblazing Women Harnessed the Power of Home and Changed the Way We Live. I just thought it sounded kind of interesting. I could always pick it up and start it, and then if I'm not too interested, I can stop reading it. So there's that. That's kind of how I'm taking the nonfiction phase right now, is that I'm just kind of reading through any nonfiction book. So if it's a nonfiction book that teaches you something, like this one for instance, Food Storage for the Clueless, I thought this title was so funny, and I wanted to check it out and see what all it contained. So this is what I actually read this morning. I read the intro, and I think I went through what to store. I read most of the pages. Some of it is just tables, so I didn't really count those pages, but I read so many pages that I'm sure there were at least 10 pages in there. So we're going to count that as nonfiction reading for today. But I will probably pick it back up at some point today and thumb through it because I was in the middle of looking at something when I decided to pop up and make it the crackers. Another one that I checked out is this Heritage Skills for Contemporary Life Seasons at the Paris House. This is the one that I thumbed through yesterday. So that it's set up is over 4 seasons. So in summer, here are some summer things you can do. And she puts in recipes or instructions of things like how to make soap. And so this one is more of a like, if I'm looking for a particular thing. So not all of it will apply to me, like keeping chickens, we rent, and the landlord does not want chickens here. So there's like home canned applesauce. Canning is something I've always wanted to learn how to do. So it's got a little bit of storytelling and then goes into her projects. And then the books that I'm still working my way through that have been on my nonfiction reading for a while. Whoa. Paul David's Trip Parenting. I am reading this one with a friend though, and so I read ahead a couple of chapters and I slowed myself down and so when we're discussing it, I don't want to be too far ahead because then I'm having trouble remembering what I read prior. So I've been taking more notes, so when we talk about it and discuss it, I can be on the same page as her. But this one we are reading together, and then this one I showed in another one. This is Max Lucado, Facing Your Giants. This one I picked up, I started, I put down. I've had it for quite some time. I took the cover off and I don't know what I did with it. So I don't know. I got to, here we go. Don't cringe, people, but I did fold my page. So I got to chapter 6 and then I stopped. And so this one is kind of like the rest of the nonfiction books and where we're at right now. I'm just picking up what I feel like reading, kind of mood reading, nonfiction, if you will. And I think that's how I'm going to tackle it for the next few weeks maybe. And then, like I said this morning, I started reading this one because, I don't know, the title just makes me laugh. So that's where we're at today. Still haven't eaten breakfast. I should. Maybe we'll have some soup for breakfast. I haven't figured out dinner either. I just got started on these crackers and that's all I've done. Oh, that's not a good thing. And I don't know what we're gonna do for exercise. I have a tiny bit of a headache. Probably because I'm usually onto my water by now and I'm drinking my coffee so slow, but I'm hoping to get you through the full day of eating today, but we'll see. Okay, I finally made myself some soup. I made some ham and potato soup with celery, carrots, and ham, potatoes, celery, carrots. I think that's it. And a little bit of milk, almond milk. So I made that last week and I'm going to freeze the rest of that's in that jar. But I thought since it is 10:30 and I still haven't eaten, I'd go ahead and serve some up. I'm going to first put in a dollop of this cottage cheese on the bottom for a little extra protein, and then it kind of just makes it a little cheesier, actually, the soup. So I'll probably put a little bit of hot sauce in here as well, just because I want to kick it up a little bit. And then this will be brunch. I don't know if I can call it breakfast at 10:30. I mean, I can call it whatever I want, right? But we'll have this for our first real meal. Okay, it's 2:30, a little later. I have had a protein bar that I forgot to film, but that's what there was, a protein bar. This doesn't look very appetizing, but it should taste pretty good. It is chicken, sausage. There's like chicken sausage, and then I mix it in with cauliflower rice, regular white rice, and then we did a bag of peppers and onion, bell peppers and onion, but there wasn't very much when I first warmed it up. So I added in 6 of the turkey meatballs. We had some frozen turkey meatballs, and then I add water into the pan so we didn't add any extra fat to it, but also it helps the rice and everything stay kind of a nice consistency. So I am going to have this for a later lunch with, I just sprinkled red pepper flakes on it. I have dinner in the slow cooker right now. It is chicken that I had cooked. Sorry, the TV's on. I had chicken in the slow cooker, teriyaki chicken. I'm gonna put in some Normandy veggies in here and a little bit too to cook that up, and then we'll probably serve it over rice, I'm thinking. Okay, I finally remembered to record dinner, so go ahead. It doesn't probably look the prettiest because it's already in here, but there is white rice and quinoa mixed here that we steamed in the rice cooker, and then I had put the teriyaki chicken in the slow cooker, so that cooked all day, and then I threw in some Normandy veggies in there as well. I'm about to put some sriracha sauce on it, and I put a little bit of these liquid aminos on the rice as well. And so this is what's going to be for dinner tonight. So I think I finally got a day of eating in for you, although I probably could do better. And that's where we left off the week. To be honest, again, I usually wrap up my week the following week, and that's what we're doing. We are in, I don't even know what week we're in. I know we surpassed day 50 at the time of filming, but so at the time of filming we are in week 8, but to wrap up week 7, we just kind of kept going in. We did a couple more social outings and things like that, and eating wise, I just tried to stick to eating clean. I do think I'm going to pay a little bit more attention as the weeks go on to what that means for me, since I'm moving away from counting macros and I am looking at a couple of other things. I think we're going to switch over and make priorities in a different area, but we can talk about that for the next week. As far as exercise was, I did get a couple of strength training exercises in, basically more cardios. I did get a walk in, I think, as well. I've been kind of hit or miss on my morning walks. I just been waking up and not really, I don't know, not really wanting to go out, and I feel like I really should before it starts to cool down too much again. I don't know if it's because it's too hot or if I just am like sleepy and I want to take in that time. But I'm going to wrap it up here because I feel like I'm competing with my littles who are upstairs. They're supposed to be cleaning, but if you have kids, you know, sometimes cleaning turns into playtime, and I can hear them chatting, and I feel like I'm going to start yelling because I'm trying to raise my voice. So if you're a mom or a parent or you watch children, you have children around, you probably understand. But that's it for this week. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and coming along on this journey. I can't believe we're already this far into it. Let's get into next week, and thanks for sticking around with me during this week.